At my baby shower, my infertile SIL attacked me and was jailed. Months later, she lost her own child and now wishes to meet my daughter. I've been married to Sam, 34, for 7 years. In 2016, we met at a mutual friend's wedding. I was the bridesmaid, and Sam was the groomsman. We were matched together to walk down the aisle, and there was an instant connection between us. Following the ceremony, we spent the entire reception conversing and laughing. By the end of the night, we had swapped phone numbers and scheduled our first date. Following that, our relationship progressed swiftly. We discovered a lot in common, including a love of hiking, a similar interest in true crime podcasts, and a desire to raise a family someday. After a year of dating, Sam proposed to me during a twilight trek on our favorite route. 6 months later, we celebrated a lovely fall wedding with our closest friends and family. We knew from the start that we wanted children. We began trying for a baby shortly after our honeymoon. At first, it was exciting. We joke about which of our characteristics the baby will receive, such as Sam's dimples or curly hair. But as months went without a positive pregnancy test, that excitement faded into concern. We attempted everything to boost our prospects. I began charting my ovulation religiously, and we both made lifestyle adjustments. Sam gave up smoking, a habit he had had since college. I gave up my favorite morning coffee. We joined a gym together, determined to be in the best shape of our life. However, nothing happened. After 2 years of unsuccessful attempts, we decided to consult with a reproductive doctor. Dr. Anderson conducted various tests on both of us. Those weeks spent waiting for results were among the most stressful of our life. When the results finally arrived, they were frustratingly inconclusive. There was no evident explanation why we were unable to conceive. Dr. Anderson advised us to keep trying and explained that sometimes these things simply take time. During this time, Sam's younger sister Rachel, 29F, married her college sweetheart, 31M. Their wedding was spectacular, and I remember feeling envious as Rachel tossed her bouquet, laughing about how she and Jack would be the next to have a baby. I had no idea how memorable that occasion would be in our life. As our infertility progressed, we became increasingly isolated from our friends and family. Everyone around us appeared to have babies effortlessly. Our social media feeds were overflowing with pregnancy announcements and newborn pictures. Each one felt like a punch in the gut. We began declining invites to baby showers and first birthday parties because we found them too hard to attend. Finally, after 5 years of effort, it occurred. I was a week late, but I was too terrified to take a test, not wanting to be disappointed again. Sam finally purchased a pregnancy test and pushed me to use it. When the 2 pink lines emerged, we both burst into tears of excitement. We must have taken 5 additional tests to be certain. Given our background, we opted to announce the pregnancy at 12 weeks. The weeks spent concealing our secret were both exciting and worrisome. Every twinge or wave of nausea pushed me into a frenzy, fearing something had gone wrong. But when we saw our tiny bean dancing around on the screen during our 12-week scan, we realized it was time to share our excitement. We revealed our pregnancy during a family meal. Sam's parents were having their annual summer barbecue, and it seemed like an ideal occasion. When we broke the news, the response was overwhelming. Sam's mother burst into joyous tears, while his father hugged him tightly. My folks were unable to quit smiling. It was a lovely moment that I will remember forever. Despite all of the pleasure and congrats, I couldn't help but notice Rachel's reaction. While everyone else was rejoicing, she remained sad, her expression blank. When she eventually came over to congratulate us, her hug was stiff, and her smile did not reach her eyes. I blew it off at the time, figuring she was simply stunned by the news. As my pregnancy progressed, we began to plan for our baby's arrival. We transformed our home office into a nursery, painting the walls a delicate mint green. Sam's father assisted us with assembling the crib, making it a full-day occasion complete with pizza and beverages, non-alcoholic for me, of course. My mother and I spent weekends looking through thrift stores for one-of-a-kind, vintage-inspired baby outfits. Rachel's behavior remained unusual during this period. She rarely inquired about the pregnancy, and when she did, her comments were typically unfavorable. When I was showing off a beautiful hand-knitted blanket created by my grandmother, Rachel said that it was a shame to invest so much effort into something that would most likely get spit up on. Despite Rachel's attitude, we attempted to involve her in the pregnancy experience. We invited her and Jack to our gender reveal celebration, where we discovered we were expecting a girl. Rachel arrived late, scarcely chatted with anyone, and left early, claiming to have a headache. As the due date approached, Sam's mother volunteered to throw us a baby shower. We were moved by her offer and gladly accepted. The day of the shower arrived and our house was packed with friends and relatives. Everyone was there to congratulate our upcoming baby girl. Rachel arrived an hour late and looked annoyed. She handed me a gift and made her way to the food table without saying anything. Throughout the party, she made disparaging remarks about the decorations, games, and even the gifts that other people provided. I overheard her telling Jack that the entire situation was nasty and over the top. When it came time to exchange gifts, things became worse. Rachel's expression darkened as I unwrapped each item and thanked the donor. When I unwrapped her gift, a plain white onesie, she rose up and exclaimed, "This is so unfair." Rachel continued her outburst, and the room fell silent. She complained about how she'd been trying to conceive for years, how she deserved to be a mother more than I did, and how unfair life was. Then, to everyone's surprise, she grabbed the cake knife from the table and lunged for me. Thank goodness, Sam's quick reflexes saved the day. He grabbed Rachel's arm before she could reach me. Someone phoned the cops during the ensuing pandemonium. Rachel was arrested for attempted assault, and the baby shower came to an abrupt halt. I was deeply shaken. My sister-in-law's attempt to hurt me and maybe my unborn kid was inexplicable. Sam was distraught, split between concern for me and amazement in his sister's behavior. Following the incident, Jack begged us not to file charges. He disclosed that Rachel had been suffering from infertility and depression, and that she wasn't in her right mind. But Sam and I couldn't simply let this go. We chose to press charges because we felt Rachel should face the repercussions of her actions. Rachel is currently in jail awaiting trial, and our family is torn apart. Some family members believe we are overly harsh and should dismiss the charges for the sake of family harmony. Others agree with our conclusion, claiming Rachel's acts were unforgivable regardless of her mental state. I cannot help but feel guilty. Did I go too far by celebrating my pregnancy when I knew Rachel was struggling? Should I have been more sympathetic to her feelings? But then I remember how she jeopardized not only me, but also my pregnant kid, and I feel right in our decision. AITA, why did you have my sister-in-law arrested during my baby shower? Update 1. It's been a month since the baby shower incident, and much has changed. First and foremost, I'd like to express my gratitude to everyone for their support and suggestions. Our family has been going through a difficult period, and your comments have provided us with comfort. Rachel's trial date was scheduled for next month, but there have been some unexpected changes. About 2 weeks ago, Jack contacted Samantha, asking if we could meet to talk about the matter. After some trepidation, we decided to meet in a neutral site, a neighborhood coffee shop that Sam and I used to frequent when we first started dating. When we arrived, not only did we find Jack, but also Rachel's parents. Linda, Rachel's mother 58F, instantly began appealing with us to dismiss the accusations. She stated that Rachel had been diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety and was now taking medication and receiving therapy. Linda maintained that Rachel didn't belong in jail and that she needed treatment, not punishment. As Linda spoke, I couldn't help but remember back to Sam and Rachel's early days together. Rachel was friendly and welcoming when Sam initially introduced me to his family. We'd even developed a friendship, frequently going shopping together or having girls' nights with champagne and rom-coms. It was difficult to accept that Rachel was the one who had attacked me with a knife. Jack then dropped the bomb: Rachel was pregnant. Apparently, they had been undergoing IVF, and their most recent try had proven successful. Jack said Rachel found out just a few days before our baby shower, but she was too distraught to digest it properly. He stated that her outburst was caused by a combination of her hormones and mental health difficulties. I was astonished. Part of me sympathized with Rachel, realizing how overwhelming those emotions must have been. But another part of me couldn't get over the fear I felt as she approached me with that knife. I recall the cold expression in her eyes. Rachel is so different from the one I thought I knew. Sam and I excused ourselves to discuss the problem in private. We walked to a neighboring park, the same one where we used to go on picnic dates in the beginning of our relationship. As we sat on a bench, the magnitude of the decision before us felt overpowering. We couldn't make up our minds. On the one hand, we realized Rachel was going through a terrible period and needed assistance. We reflected on our years of friendship with her, the holidays we had spent together, and the private jokes we had shared. Her actions, on the other hand, had endangered both me and our pregnant kid, and we believed she should face the consequences. After a lengthy conversation, we agreed to consult with our lawyer regarding the potential of a plea bargain. We didn't want to drop the charges totally, but we were willing to work out a solution that would guarantee Rachel received the assistance she required while simultaneously holding her accountable for her conduct. When we returned to the coffee shop and discussed our opinions, Jack and Rachel's parents looked relieved. They praised us warmly for being prepared to consider alternatives to jail time. Linda hugged me, tears in her eyes, and I was taken back to happier times with this family. As we exited the coffee shop, I felt a variety of feelings. I was still outraged about what had happened, but I also had a glimmer of optimism that our family might heal from it. Sam gripped my hand as we headed to our car, and I knew no matter what happened, we'd face it together. The following day, we met with our attorney to examine our alternatives. She suggested that a plea bargain may be a suitable option, potentially resulting in forced rehabilitation. Rachel's punishment will be community service and probation rather than jail time. We decided to go on with this strategy. However, later that week we received another unexpected call from Jack. Rachel had been hospitalized owing to pregnancy difficulties. Her physical health had suffered as a result of the stress of the impending trial, as well as her mental health difficulties. Jack sounded fatigued and terrified over the phone. He informed us that Rachel had started bleeding and was in risk of losing the baby. As he talked, I felt a rush of mixed feelings. Despite everything that had transpired, I would never wish the grief of losing a pregnancy on anyone, especially Rachel, who had been trying to conceive for so long. We're now in a terrible position. The trial has been postponed due to Rachel's condition, and we are left wondering if we are doing the right thing. Are we too harsh? Is not tough enough? It's a fine balance between justice, compassion, and family loyalty, and I'm not convinced we're doing it right. In light of all of this, Sam and I have spent a lot of time discussing our own approaching fatherhood. We've begun taking parenting classes, and each session reminds us of the immense responsibility we're about to take on. It has strengthened our commitment to providing a safe and stable environment for our daughter. I'll keep you updated as things go. Thank you everyone again for your help at this difficult time. Update 2, it's been 3 months since my last update, and Rachel's situation has taken some unforeseen turns. I apologize for the delay in updating, but things have been really stressful. First, I'd like to add that I gave birth to our lovely daughter, Lily, 6 weeks ago. Despite the stress of Rachel's current circumstances, the birth went well, and Lily and I are both doing well. Sam has been an excellent father, and we are gradually adjusting to life with a newborn. The night Lily was born was a blur of emotions. My labor began abruptly 2 weeks early, and everything happened rapidly. Sam was great throughout the procedure, holding my hand and encouraging me every step of the way. When we heard Lily's first cry, it was the most beautiful sound I had ever heard. Holding her for the first time, I felt a love I never imagined imaginable. We were in a state of happiness as new parents during the first few days in the hospital. However, reality hit us hard when we learned about Rachel. As I said in my previous report, Rachel was admitted to the hospital owing to pregnancy difficulties. Despite the greatest efforts of her medical team, Rachel lost her baby at 16 weeks. It was a crushing blow to her and Jack. It sent shockwaves across the entire household. Sam told me the news, and I remember it vividly. We were in our hospital room, with Lily resting quietly in her bassinet. Sam's face paled as he related the information he had just received from his parents. My heart fell. Regardless of what had happened between us, I would never wish that anguish on anyone. Rachel's mental health deteriorated significantly as a result of the catastrophe. She was admitted to a mental unit for intensive care. Given the facts, our counsel told us that pursuing the accusations at this time would most likely be detrimental to all parties involved. After much deliberation, Sam and I decided to drop the accusations. It was not an easy decision, and I am still conflicted about it. However, witnessing Rachel in such a vulnerable situation made us understand that she requires assistance and support, not legal punishment. We made it obvious to Jack and Rachel's parents that our decision was conditional. Rachel must continue with her therapy and treatments. She is not to have any unsupervised contact with us or Lily until her therapist decides it is appropriate. They quickly agreed to these conditions. The family's response to our choice has been divided. Sam's parents are relieved and appreciative, thinking that this is the first step toward repairing our damaged family. Linda's expression of thankfulness when we informed her of our decision stands out to me. She hugged us both, tears falling down her cheeks. But my parents, on the other hand, are concerned that we are being too liberal, leaving ourselves open to potential problems with Rachel. My father was really upset. He reminded me of the fear and tension I had during my pregnancy as a result of Rachel's conduct. It took a long conversation to get him to grasp our point of view. Sam and I are focusing on our new life with Lily. We've strengthened our home security by installing cameras and a new alarm system. It may seem paranoid, but given what happened, we believe it is vital for our peace of mind. Jack has been keeping us updated on Rachel's growth. She remains in the psychiatric facility, but is said to be making modest but steady progress. He indicated that she had expressed tremendous regret for her conduct during the baby shower, but we haven't heard from her directly. I'm still analyzing my reactions to everything that's transpired. While I'm delighted we made a decision that could perhaps assist Rachel and repair our family, I can't get over my anxiety and skepticism. I'm not sure I'll ever be able to totally forgive Rachel or feel safe around her again. For the time being, we're taking things slow and focusing on Lily and our small family. The future of our connection with Rachel is uncertain, but we are hopeful that with time and continuing therapy, some type of reconciliation may be possible. Update 3, it's been 6 months. since my last update, and I'd want to provide some last views on the matter. A lot has changed, and this may be my final post about this phase of our lives. Lily is already 7 months old and is the joy of our lives. She's starting to crawl and babble, and each day with her is a new adventure. Sam and I are fatigued, but happier than we've ever been. Every day, watching Sam and Lily reminds me of why I fell in love with him. He is extremely patient and caring, always ready with a goofy face to make her laugh, or a soothing voice when she is upset. Rachel was freed from the psychiatric facility around 3 months ago. Her physicians say she's made considerable progress in dealing with her despair, anxiety, and grief over her miscarried pregnancy. She is still undergoing outpatient therapy and is on a stable drug schedule. Rachel contacted us about a month after her release, via Jack. She asked if she may meet Lily. Sam and I were skeptical at first, but after consulting with our therapist, yes, we began seeing one to help us process everything that had happened. We agreed to a brief, supervised visit. The meeting was somewhat awkward. It took place in our living room, and Jack and Sam's parents were there. Rachel appeared frightened and struggled to make eye contact with us. She brought Lily a crocheted blanket as a gift and apologized for her actions during the baby shower through tears. She claimed that she was in a very bad place psychologically and emotionally, and that she truly regretted her actions. As Rachel held Lily for the first time, I felt a peculiar mix of feelings. On the one hand, seeing her engage tenderly with my kid reminded me of our previous close friendship. On the other hand, I couldn't get rid of the vision of her lunging at me with a knife. I found myself tensing up every time Rachel moved, despite the fact that I knew she would not harm Lily. While I appreciated her apologies, I struggled to accept it totally. I don't think I'll ever forget her rushing at me with a knife. Sam appeared more willing to go toward forgiveness, but I could sense he was still guarded. He kept his eye on Rachel throughout the visit, never leaving her seat with Lily. Since then, there have been a couple additional monitored visits. Each one gets a bit better. But there's a long way to go before I'm comfortable leaving Lily alone with Rachel. We've established a monthly visitation schedule, always with Jack present and generally at Sam's parents' place. It's neutral land, which puts everyone at ease. Jack has been extremely helpful throughout this entire process. He is always present during the visits and will quickly remove Rachel if she exhibits any signs of distress. He's also been going to therapy with Rachel to work on their relationship and process their shared grief over the loss of their kid. The rest of the family is gradually returning to their new normal. Sam's parents are happy to have their family back together, albeit they respect our boundaries with Rachel. Linda's eyes light up with relief every time we are all in the same room without incident. Sam's father has taken on the role of peacemaker, always ready with a joke or a change of subject when emotions mount. My parents remain skeptical, but they are making an effort for Lily's benefit. They've started joining us for some of the family occasions, but I can see they're constantly on guard around Rachel. My mother, in particular, keeps a close eye on Rachel whenever she is around Lily. I appreciate their guardianship, even if it occasionally adds to the anxiety. Looking back on everything that has occurred, I have conflicting feelings. While I'm delighted Rachel is getting the assistance she requires, I can't help but wonder what might have happened if we had detected her problems sooner.